In this video, we are going to talk about 5 reasons why you're probably a perfectionist as a fearful avoidant. I am Pauline, and I am so happy you are here because if you recognize yourself in the fearful avoidant attachment style, chances are pretty humongous that you actually are a perfectionist. I think I would safely argue that pretty much every fearful avoidant is a perfectionist. And you might think, but wait, Pauline, I am not. I am not perfect whatsoever. I just don't do anything. I don't get any work done. How can I be a perfectionist? There are several types of perfectionists. The ways your perfectionism comes out, there are so many different ways. But roughly the two ways are you either just don't do anything, because if you don't do anything, you can't fail, or you work really, really hard and you just have this stress, this unrest that you can never stop. You just have to achieve more or do more or be more, and that can be in so many different areas. It could be in your work, it can be in the self-help world, like I have to be more. It can be in so many areas. I think i think that this will be a little bit of a series about perfectionism. Let me know in the comments below, because perfectionism definitely has such a big impact on you and on your life, and it is actually one of the leading causes of depression, clinical depression, and anxiety. So it is very, very well worth talking about and understanding it and understanding yourself, so that we can be nicer for ourselves. You can be kinder to yourself. That is the first step. So let's dive into these 5 reasons. The first reason why you're a perfectionist, and that could mean you just don't do anything because everything feels overwhelming because it has to be perfect, or you work really hard and nothing ever feels good enough. The first reason is that perfection kind of feels like safety. So you have almost this fantasy that when you get to a point where you are perfect, or what you do is perfect, or who you are is perfect, then you will be safe. Then you will just have no worries anymore, no care in the world. You won't have to endure any pain, any trauma, any setbacks in life, if you could just be perfect. So it becomes this dot on the horizon in a way, where you feel like, if I get there, then I'll be safe. That will be my safe haven. If I could just be perfect, I won't be rejected anymore. I won't be abandoned anymore. And of course, this isn't true. um, I hate to bust that bubble if there was a part of you still really believing that. And it's so logical that you believe that when you've had a rough childhood, when you have a lot of trauma. Of course, you're gonna want to have that safe haven, and you want to have a feeling that you can get there and that that's a possibility. Um, but that safe haven is there, but it's not in perfection. I will talk about that a little bit later. The second reason is that perfection gives control. That search for perfection, that striving for perfection, kind of gives the illusion of control. You are working towards something where, when you get there, you cannot be hurt anymore, and you don't have to deal with the messiness of life. I remember quite literally, I wasn't aware of it, but I do remember that I felt like if I could just reach a certain point, I would not have to deal with setbacks. My life actually would be perfect if I could just have the perfect partner, if I could love my partner perfectly, so have perfect feelings. If I could be a perfect person in the sense of almost enlightenment, then there wouldn't be any setbacks. I wouldn't get sick. I wouldn't have to deal with the messiness of life. People wouldn't reject me. People wouldn't abandon me. And I truly believed that. I truly thought that there was a way to kind of cheat life in a way. And in that, I felt better than other people. Because I thought, well, normal people just have all these things, you know, they get sick, uh, they they don't succeed in whatever they want to do, they don't have perfect relationships where they feel completely loved, but they aren't working as hard as I am, aren't willing to work as hard as I am willing to. And so I would work really, really, really hard at my relationship, at all the self-help things, at just becoming better and better and better. And it helped. It definitely helped um, when I would focus on things like gratitude. And, you know, there definitely are things that help. But the perfectionism part of it made me more depressed and frustrated because I never really got there. So it was this thing that was always out of reach. And I think especially in the time of social media, that is such a pitfall, to believe that we can have it all because everybody shows the parts of their life, of themselves, that they're good at. And so you think, well, I have to have this perfect house, I have to have this perfect relationship. Okay, but we're going to go into that in a different video. Like I said, this is going to be a series because there's so much to talk about, so much to talk about. So the second one was perfection gives control, because you have not learned to deal with messiness, or more so, you were left to your own devices with messiness. So when you felt rejected when you were a child, when you felt abandoned when you were a child, when things happened that you couldn't understand, when you were hurt, you were probably alone. And that is really hard to go through stuff like that alone. And so you learn that it is really scary if life happens, things happen, because then I will be alone and I will have to deal with it. And so I want this control and I just want to prevent it from happening, so I don't get in this situation where I'm overwhelmed and maybe cannot handle the situation because I have to deal with it alone. And so learning how to deal with messiness, learning how to really depend on other people and to connect through hard times, that is the power and the strength that you are looking for, not the perfectionism and not the control. It's so logical that you're doing that because you haven't had the experience of being able to really depend on somebody, and somebody just holding space for you and being there with you in that messiness. But it is so possible. And still, it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what you've been through. It doesn't matter if you have friends right now or you don't. It doesn't matter. You are capable of that, and you can experience that at any given time, in any given age. I really wish you give yourself the grace of being where you are right now because of what you've been through, but also the belief of everything that is to come. And life will only get better and better and better because you're healing this. So the third reason is why you're probably a perfectionist is needing to be special. And this is a little bit different one, even though you also seek safety in being special. I think also pretty much every fearful avoidant has this almost need to be special. I made videos about that before. You want to be special for a partner, but for others, because you feel like then you won't be rejected, you won't be abandoned, you won't be bullied, you won't fall outside of the group, people will admire you. And the thing is, when you have lacked connection in your childhood, you will strive to be admired, to be above others, to be better than others in whatever way, because you're afraid that otherwise you will be below others. So you have this whole idea of the world that is you're either above others or below others. And so you seek to be special in so many different ways. And I will actually make a video on the many ways you can seek to be special. I'm just writing that down. Okay. But that is definitely also a reason why you're a perfectionist, because if you're perfect, you're special. But if you're perfect, it's very hard to be connected to you because nobody is perfect. I mean, it's unattainable. But sometimes people do a very good job at portraying that they're perfect. And um, yeah, it's wanting to be perfect actually can get in the way of wanting to connect, which is also another video. Gosh, it's always when I'm talking to you, I come up with different ideas for videos. Just give me 1 second. I just love making these videos for you. The fourth reason is that you are only worthy or valuable for what you do. That's probably what you've learned when you were younger. You are only valuable when you adapt, when you are happy and cheerful, when you do what your parents or caregivers wanted you to do. And so that's what you kind of learn. That's what your belief becomes, that I am only valuable or worthy because of what I do, not for who I am. I am not worthy and valuable when I rest. I am not worthy and valuable when I don't do anything. And that is not true. But it leads you to work really hard and try to be perfect at what you do so that you feel worthy and valuable. And this comes from not feeling valuable and worthy when you were younger. And the answer is not in reaching that perfect state, which is unattainable and therefore frustrating and disappointing. It's in healing and realizing and actually feeling and experiencing that you are worthy and you are valuable when you don't do anything, when you don't have anything to give, when you are resting, when you are not trying, when you are not proving, when you are not striving. You are valuable. You are so worthy of everything good in this world. And that is already true. It's just that belief that needs to kind of be released, healed, and then reinstalled as a better belief that you are worthy and valuable no matter what you do or don't do. And then the fifth reason is that when things are perfect, my needs will be met. So many fearful avoidants have the experience of not having their needs met when they were younger. And that is a very scary thing, especially when your needs being met is completely dependent on your parents and caregivers, and they are just not attuned enough. They have different ideas about what parenting means, and so your needs aren't being met. And then you can adopt this belief or become convinced that it's me. I'm the problem because I'm not perfect. That's why my needs are unmet. And you do this because this gives you control. If you would have to accept as a 4-year-old child that the reason your needs are not met is because your parents are just unable to, for whatever reason, you won't have any control because you are not your parents. You can't change them. And so you internalize it and you believe, wait, I must be the problem because if I can change and be perfect, then my needs will be met. And so there is a possibility that your needs are met. Whereas if you would accept that your parents are just people, very imperfect people, and they are incapable of meeting your needs, that is way too scary for a young child. So that's why you adopt this belief that when I am perfect, when things are perfect, my needs will be met. And it could be when I am perfect, but it could also be when things are perfect, which means that everything in life has to go smoothly, because only when things are perfect and my parents aren't upset in whatever way, then my needs are met. So this could be when everything was going well, your parents actually did have the emotional capacity to tune in or to meet your needs at least somewhat. And so you develop this tendency to want to control all your external factors so that everything in life runs smoothly, so that the people around you, like your partner, can focus on you and help you meet your needs. So that is where that behavior can come from trying to control those external factors or trying to control yourself, because if you are perfect, then maybe your needs will be met, is also a belief a lot of fearful avoidants have. So these are 5 reasons, and I could make a video with about 25 reasons. There are so many more. It is so logical that you are a perfectionist and that you have these tendencies, because a child's brain just kind of works very black and white in a way, and perfection just seems like a logical choice or a logical option when you're young and things are rough and they are not going as you want or not going as you need. You just think, if I'm perfect, if everything's perfect, then everything will be fine. And that's not how that goes. And so now is the time to heal that, to be that adult that that child never had, and meet your own needs, and let go of trying to be perfect or trying to control your external factors so that everything around you is perfect. Because what I wish for you is that you can enjoy life and know that you are valuable no matter what you do or don't do, and let go of the striving and therefore also the disappointment, because you're never going to get there, and the depression or the tendency towards depression because it is just unattainable, and the anxiety that comes from, what if I never get it, what if it isn't able, what if I fail. All of that just takes such a toll on us, and I wish peace for you in your mind and in your body. So we are going to make a series out of this and talk about this much more so that you understand much more. But if you are ready to just start healing right now, then check out the link in the description below to my online program, where I take you step by step through the roots of the fearful avoidant attachment style, which will definitely also heal this perfectionist thing. And we actually have a whole module just on perfectionism. And the freedom that will give you, I wish I could just show you or just have you experience it already, to let go of that perfectionism and really enjoy life. All right, let me know in the comments below if this was valuable, if you've noticed already that you have these perfectionist tendencies. I'm curious. I really want to know. As always, I am so happy you are here, and I will see you in the next one.